Want to learn how Canva can help you with your business? Then this is the episode for you. Hi, I'm Tonya Duncan Ellis with Write This, an author interview show. And today I'm excited to welcome on Kim C. Lee, a children's author and an expert on using Canva design tool. I became acquainted with Kim during the pandemic, and I love her Instagram page and all her beautiful designs, and have actually gotten a lot of great ideas from checking out her page. So I'm so happy to have her on to learn about her great Canva course and get some tips on Canva. Looks like she's popped in, so let me invite her on. All for tuning in. Let's see, I click this, so let's see if I can get her on.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, Kim, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's beautiful here in Maryland.
Okay, good. Well, I'm so happy to have you on, and I've been thinking about getting you on the show for a while, and then I saw that you were doing some other interviews about Canva, and I said, yeah, let me ask her and have her come on, because I have admired all of your beautiful designs for years now.
Oh, thank you.
And would love to, I'm happy to have you on to pick your brain and get some tips on improving Canva and to let more people know about your course that you are. Yeah. Now, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and about your background as a children's author?
Sure, yes. So I'm a children's book author. I've written 4 books, the most recent being The Night Owl Goes to Space. My stories are largely inspired by people that I know, and I try to ground them in truth. So they're not as much fantasy as some other books you may see, but
It's not.
hey, I'm not sure what happened. It was very weird.
So I hope it's not my Wi-Fi. I've had it's looking dark out in my front yard, so hopefully my internet. But I didn't hear.
Problem.
Okay,
There's technical issues
about
always.
You were telling me they're realistic stories.
Yes. So they're rooted in the experiences of myself or people that I know or in my family. And I think that's important, especially for Black children, to be able to see everyday experiences and know that there is value and that they're story worthy. So that's what I primarily write about and try to emphasize when I am writing. In addition to the children's book authoring, I also do content creation. I build websites, like actual content. So if you need social media content, if you need print materials, that sort of thing, I'm doing that behind the scenes. I don't readily advertise it. A lot of the time I get people that come to me from word of mouth, which is a great thing, right? So I do that other work. And then sometimes I also have people that just want to use me as a sounding board. So they may come to me and we do some ideation, come up with some concepts that they can utilize to push their brand forward, or, just how they can capitalize on whatever they may be doing at that time. So that's me in a nutshell.
Well, how did you get into doing all this design? How did you become so good at it?
So I think part of it is just general interest. And then because I love technology, I work in technology field. That's not my primary focus in technology, but all these different pieces coming together just afforded me the ability to learn and be able to use the tools that are available to create. So, and I think just also creativity. I've always been creative.
Yeah, because I really have gotten a lot of ideas from some of the cute designs you have. You have the way your page is laid out looks like you put a lot of thought into it, and it always looks very eye-catching and appealing.
Yeah, I think I don't know if I put a lot of thought into the way that it looks, but I want it to be cohesive.
Right.
That's the one thing that's very important. And sometimes people hear cohesive and they think everything has to be the same color. Not necessarily true, but I would like for when people see the stuff that I create to know that it came from me, and hopefully that's happening.
Okay. Now, what kind of tips can you give authors who want to utilize or to up level their design on their social or website pages, what kind of things would you suggest that they do?
Sure. So I will start with color and just your general appearance, your brand. Make sure that whatever you are putting out there is aligned with what you want to represent. So if you're talking about bright and exciting things, avoid dark colors. You know, not saying that you can't use them for an accent, but you want that mood to follow. I would also encourage you to visit existing design items. So look at magazines, look at other work, look at newspapers, look at other books, just to get ideas. You know, we don't have to continually reinvent things, but you can be inspired by so many things around you. And then just become generally familiar with general graphic design concepts, alignment, spacing. You don't have to take a formal class to do that, but you can definitely look online to become familiar with things like that.
Right. Now, what about Canva? What are some things that Canva can do or things we can do when we're marketing our books?
So Canva really allows you to do a lot. Whether you're using a free account or you're using a paid account, there's so much that you can leverage the platform to do. So for those of us who are not as creatively inclined, they have a plethora of templates that you can use as starting points. And I say and emphasize starting points because if you start with the template, you do no customization to it, you pretty much look like everyone else's design. So when you're starting with those templates, you want to change several things in them, change the colors, change the fonts, move something over to the left or right, add an element here or there, just so your design stands out and it looks more like yours versus everyone else's. But you can create presentations, you can do flyers, you can do your coloring activity books. They have recently really upped their document suite. So if you're writing certain documents like one-sheeters or cell sheets, you can use it for that. The AI that's incorporated and that can guide you in writing whatever you want to create there. I love to use that AI feature, the Magic Write, to help with captions. You know, we write a lot of social media captions and sometimes it can be challenging, but at times I'll use it for that. Blogging, if you're a blogger, you can also use that Magic Write functionality to help with that as well. And then some of the things that people don't think about as much is presentation. So in dynamic presentations, not just your regular PowerPoint presentation. So you can create something and have it moving. I love to use the presentation feature to create dynamic versions of my books. So when I do readings at schools that are virtual, instead of just having that static picture of the book, I add a few elements to, capture the attention of the children. And that's definitely not an exhaustive list. There's just so much more in there.
And I love doing the presentations in Canva. I just started doing that this year, and I saw you can have even the GIFs, or GIF, I can't pronounce it right. Those in music and all kind of things to make it more active.
Yes, you can do that. And you can also present from right within Canva, or you can just send a link out to the Canva presentation that you're working on. So you don't have to have others actually have Canva in order to enjoy the presentation that you're delivering.
Okay. Now, what are some don'ts common things that you see that people do that you think they shouldn't be doing when it comes to graphic design?
So if we're talking about Canva specifically, I would say do not create your logos in Canva. A lot of people are taking the elements from within Canva and saying, oh, this works for me. But if you ever go to try and trademark that or anything, it's not going to go. The elements within Canva are being submitted by other designers for your use. And the licensing of Canva allows you to leverage them for whatever you need to, but not logos. Like, you can't go trademark that. So I would definitely avoid that piece of it. The other thing is just making your designs very busy. So there's no order there. You're just kind of slapping things up there. When you look at it, people can't clearly understand, what you're trying to convey. There are elements that are distracting. The colors don't go together. Those are the things I would say really avoid it. There's also hierarchy in text. So everything doesn't have to be bold. Everything doesn't have to be large, but just strategically consider, what size of text you're using, what that text is conveying, and so forth.
So that sounds like a lot of information to take in if you're unfamiliar. Does Canva itself offer tutorials on there?
Oh, Yes, so that's a great thing about Canva. And I think a lot of graphic design platforms these days, if you go to the help section, they offer small snippets of, I guess, tutorials. They walk you through a very short effort on how to get started. So it's really up to you. The possibilities are endless based on your creativity, but there are some help items in there.
Now, do you recommend that all authors utilize Canva?
So I think it depends on what you are trying to accomplish. So I use Canva for my social media. I use it for print items and so forth, but I don't necessarily use it to format my reading books. I think that a platform like Adobe or something else is probably better for that. I've even heard of people using Microsoft Word. I'm not too keen on that because, I produce picture books. But there are definitely do's and don'ts for what you use it for. If you need something that is more precise, you need to apply certain rules. Like some of the platforms require you to export in your files in certain formats. I would steer away from Canva for those things. Make sure you collaborate with your graphic designer or use some other tool for that.
Okay, so people actually try to format their own books in Canva?
Yeah, there's some limitations. Like I can do my coloring books in there, but I won't do my reading books in there. And I mean, you can do it, but you just may not get the best products.
Right. I didn't even know people did that. So that's really
yes. Ebooks, you would definitely do ebooks. So if you look at Canva, it's more, I think originally it was more for web-based design products, right? And there's the web-based designs that you create, and then there's also print. So the print items, I think you need to just look at a little bit more closely when you're deciding whether or not you want to use Canva for those. And they've introduced features over the years, or even more recently, that allow you to differentiate or better view print materials. But for my books, for my reading books, I don't necessarily use it for that. I may leverage it to try and figure out what the layout of a book may look like, but I actually do the full designing in another software suite.
Okay. Very interesting. And I send all my print books out to be formatted. Mm-hmm. You're just really talented now because I just, if I had to do that, I would not want to do that. Now, another question I thought of as you were speaking is there's an update with Canva now. What are the differences with the new update in Canva compared to the old Canva?
So I wouldn't look at it as new and old Canva. They're always introducing new features. I mean, they have like an annual conference they recently started. But throughout the year, I always find that they introduce stuff late at night. For me, when I'm working on it, I see stuff, pop up and so forth. But don't look at it as old versus new. Just look at it as enhanced. So they introduce presentations, the ability, well, not so much the presentations, but the ability to change multiple aspects of your presentation at one point. So you want to change colors, you want to do video. With one click, you can kind of make that change across the board. They've also introduced more features around the background removal. So we saw the background video removal be introduced a short while ago, but now you can pick certain parts of the image to be erased if you would like to. So an example is if you're holding an eraser and now you want to make it look like you're holding an apple, you can kind of erase the eraser and then make the apple appear. There's also more animation that you can incorporate, slide transitions. And one of my favorite is translation. I don't know if anyone's actually using this, but for those of you out there that may want to create products in different languages, there is a built-in translation feature. Now, I would say that you need to check it. Make sure you check to ensure that it's correct, but it at least gets you halfway there, So that's just a few, but there's a plethora of them. They have a listing of all their enhancements that are typically posted on their website, and you can go and look at those release notes.
Okay. Now, what is included in your courses? You offer a Canva course. So what go over in the class?
Yes. So I offer multiple versions of the Canva workshops. So the basic 101 class is a 2-hour class. I think I actually just bumped it to 3 hours because there was so much content and I wanted to make sure that people were getting the information that they needed. And I scale my classes so they're 10 people or less, and they're designed that way so you can ask questions specific to your needs throughout the course. But it goes from soup to nuts, like how do I navigate Canva? how do I create designs, whether you're doing it custom or you're leveraging a template. What are some the design principles that you should keep in mind? How do you leverage video in those? How do you leverage animation? And then we also do hands-on activities where we create stuff during the class. I also have a coloring and activity book workshop, which explicitly is focused on creating coloring and activity books. So I walk through the process, not only of how to create them, but all the background information, things you should consider when you are going to create. How are you sourcing your images and that sort of thing. And then I also do custom workshops. So depending on what an organization or group may need, I will cater to their needs. So this past weekend, I did one specifically on marketing and promoting your book. So we talked specifically about how you market and promote your branding, visual branding, and items like that. So, and I know in the past I've also done like Canva for IG, things you can make in Canva to help elevate your IG platform. There's just so many different avenues that I can take with it. So if you don't see a workshop out there and you want to request one, you can just let me know.
Well, how can they sign up for the workshop?
So when the workshops are available, I typically post them on my Instagram page, also my Facebook page to say they're available. And then they also appear in my calendar on my website. Now, once they are posted, you can register through my website. My website is kimclee.com, and there's a button in the upper right-hand corner that says Create with Kim. So you can go out there and check to see when the next course is. I don't have anything posted yet. I'm thinking maybe July, August. I will have some additional sessions scheduled. This summer, I have several private sessions that I am working through. So that's why I don't have the one-offs available.
Okay, so these are live courses.
Yes, they're live courses. You are actually sitting in the course virtually. It's a virtual course. And then you get to ask whatever questions you have. So if you're working on something specific, like say you're creating a media kit or you want to create templates for your content, you can ask specific questions about those items and get demonstrations and examples of how you can do that from within the workshop.
Okay, well, this sounds wonderful. I may need, see, when I say the new and old, when I go onto Canva, it allows me to revert back to the original version. And I just keep doing that because it's easier for me.
Yeah.
But I'm not.
There's an image editor that allows you to do that. And I think they kept the older one because all the bugs hadn't been worked out in some of the functionality that they released. But I believe that a lot of that has been reconciled. So if you go to the newer one, you should be good to go. One thing to keep in mind is that they don't necessarily roll out all the changes at once to everyone. It's a phased approach. So depending on where you are, or you maybe when you signed up, you may get your changes a little bit later. But they eventually give them to everyone.
Right. Okay, great. Well, any other last tips you might want to offer or things that you think people need to consider when they're using Canva?
So a lot of people ask me what type of account they need. I would like to offer that if you are an educator, you do have an opportunity to get a Canva account for free. I think there is some documentation that you have to submit, but there is a abundance of information in Canva that educators can leverage. If you're not an educator or a nonprofit, you can also go with the free or pro account. I do advocate for the pro account because it's just worth it. By the time you get in the free account and you start using it, you come to find out, oh, I wish I had this function, or I wish I had that function, but it's all available in the free account. So not in the free account, in the pro account. So I would advocate for that. And then I guess the only other thing I would be mindful of is start organizing your work from the beginning. It is crazy to try and find everything that you create. Once you get in there, you just start doing it, but organize it, use the folders.
Oh, I don't even, I just scroll through.
Yeah, use the folders and you can search everything. Yep, tag everything.
Well, thank you. This has let me know that I need to sign up for those next courses in August, because I've just learned and kind of bumbled my way on and looked at pages like yours for inspiration. And I've kind of learned how to use different things, but I think that would help me up-level my own design skills. So
yeah, I think once people, once they walk through what is available, because a lot of people don't use the majority of what's in there. They get so used to just going to the page and doing, whatever. But once you learn what is in there, and how far you can take it, and you just gain a true understanding of how it works. Most people are able to take it and run off and do what they need to do. And I truly do advocate for people to be able to understand and support their own efforts. You know, it's nice to have someone do the work for us, but if you need something quick and you can't get to someone, or you don't want to pay someone, you don't have the budget to do that, it's great to know how to do it and be able to do, you know, the minimum that you need to do to create something.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I found my website that then I can just get on there and do what I need.
Mm-hmm. Yep, definitely.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Kim. And again, where can people find you?
Yes, so on Instagram, I am under Kim C. Lee Writes, and then my website is kimclee.com. I believe on Facebook, I'm also Kim C. Lee Writes. It's either the Kim C. Lee Writes or Kim C. Lee Writes. But that's how you can find me.
Okay, great. Well, I appreciate you popping on and sharing all these gems of information for us, because this is very helpful. Even knowing that I can get on there and go through some tutorials to learn some more before I sign up for your class.
Yes, definitely.
So, okay.
It's been my pleasure.
Yes. Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And we look forward to seeing you for another episode next week of Write This. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right. Thanks. Bye.